Alright guys, what I'm talking about today is taking out the ABS module slash actuator out of a 2007 Nissan Maxima SE 3.5 liter. Okay, the way you want to do this is disconnect your negative battery cable to start off with. Then you vac down your AC system or drain it. If you have an AC machine, it works a lot easier. You don't freeze your fingers off. Next, you want to take off both side plastic pieces on each side of the engine and the one on top of the engine. After that, take off the windshield wipers. After you take off the windshield wipers, you pop up that back cowling where the windshield wipers were. That all pops up. Once you do that, there's a metal plate back behind there. You take that off. There's about 10 to 15 screws slash bolts back there. Once you do that, since you vac down the AC system already, or drained it whatever way you did already, next you disconnect the AC lines. What you want to do is disconnect the one that's on the firewall and the large tube. The small tube you don't really want to move much because you can end up messing it up. But you disconnect it from the firewall to where the rubber AC line comes up. On the condenser. Once you do that, you take that metal tube out of the way. Just move it off the vehicle. Next, you want to pop the small line free of the plastic retainers that it's hooked to. Once you do that, you unclick the wiring harness that goes into the actuator. And all you do is there's a little tab on the bottom, you pop it up, and you pull the big piece back, and it'll pull out. You got to make sure you push it all the way up in order to disconnect the lock that's in there. Once you do that, start from the top. There's 2 bolts underneath the actuator that hold it to the plate. Take those off. Then there's 3 bolts that hold the other plate that goes against that fender. Take those out. If you have a hoist, this works really, really well to have a hoist when you do this, because you can get to the bottom 2 bolts a lot easier. Next, after you take all those bolts out, that metal frame piece that holds the actuator is loose. Next, you want to start from the top of the actuator, from right to left, loosening those. Make sure you have a line wrench that fits that. It's either a 10mm or a 12mm line wrench. You must have that, because if you don't, using a regular wrench on it will mess them up, because they are soft. They're softer aluminum. Once you get the top ones undone, you loosen the bottom ones. Once you do the ones on the side, once you do that, that bottom plate should fall out of the way, because you have less tension on the actuator holding it in place. You'll have to slightly bend some of those pipes, the brake line pipes that go in there. Once you do that, the actuator will start moving a little bit. You just bend them out of the way until you can best move that plate that holds it on the bottom, and it'll fall off a little bit. Next, you want to try to figure a way to lift it out of there by bending those pipes just a little bit. Once you do that and you have it out, you just do the whole process backwards to put it back in.